We are tracking the Trump administration's deployment of National Guard troops across the country, and their latest target is Portland, Oregon. The administration's efforts prompting a federal judge to temporarily block the deployment of any National Guard troops there. Meantime, Chicago and the state of Illinois are suing the administration over its move to deploy the Guard to the Windy City. We're going to hear from Governor JB Pritzker on later this afternoon. Joining us now to discuss the administration's tactics here is retired Major General Randy Manner. General, thank you so much for being with us. Just on the case of Illinois, the president authorizing 300 members of the state's National Guard to, they say, protect federal officers and assets in Chicago. The White House claims that there are ongoing violent riots. Has anything you've seen amount to open rebellion that would necessitate the Guard going in?
The administration's words are actually inflammatory. They're lies. They do not pass the test whatsoever in terms of any kind of insurrection whatsoever. Having a bunch of protesters there is not an insurrection. So it's the total inappropriate use of the military and the Guard, and it's something where he's trying to normalize the intimidation of our citizens using our military.
So you're essentially saying that the administration is actively trying to provoke more protests by sending in the Guard?
I'm not saying that's the intent, but anytime you mix gasoline in a flame, it's going to potentially be very explosive. So what the administration is doing is escalating tensions, not de-escalating tensions. Those videos over the weekend outside of Illinois with that mob, and by the way, the mob I'm referring to is not the protesters. The mob was Trump's Gestapo. In other words, the ICE agents. They were not disciplined. They had masks on. They were not identifiable. They were moving around, lollygagging. These were not National Guard troops, as somebody was first alleging, because Guard troops are disciplined and they follow orders that are lawful. This is not what we need to do. We need to be de-escalating tensions, not escalating them.
To your view of these ICE agents, the administration argues that these are federal agents acting within the law to enact immigration policy. You clearly don't see it that way. What's your response to the administration?
So there's a difference between the idea of the execution and implementation of the law using appropriate means that I fully support. So the president has the right to be able to exercise immigration control, should we say. What is wrong is the way that those ICE agents and other federal agents are manhandling protesters. They're pushing them to the ground. We've seen video after video after video where their respect and honor, quite frankly, is non-existent. They are nothing more than thugs in most cases, and that is not the kind of law enforcement that we want in our communities, and that's not the kind of law enforcement that we want to see. We want people to be presumed innocent until they are proven guilty, not drug out of their beds in the middle of the night the way they were doing it many nights ago.
General, I'm also curious about getting your thoughts to what Governor JB Pritzker described as an ultimatum. He says that he got a call from the administration's Department of War saying, call up your troops or we will. What's your reaction to that reported ultimatum?
That's no more than frat boy bullyism. That is them just trying to intimidate the governor. He will not be intimidated. The president does not have the right to tell the president, the president does not have any right legally to order a governor to call out his or her Guard. That is just trying to say, you better do it or else. So it's, again, being the playground bully. And I applaud the governor for standing up and saying, hell no, I'm not going to do it. And in fact, the president cannot make him do it.
Retired Major General Randy Manner, thank you so much for the time.